Hey guys, what's going on? If you didn't watch my last race from Oakland Supercross, then you don't really know what's going on. Today we are diagnosing electrical issues. Just a quick recap on my last race vlog. I got onto the starting line for practice in the Open C class, and right before we got sent on the track, all of a sudden my bike just cut out and died. And we tried really hard to get it fired up. Didn't really know what was going on. Long story short, I missed the practice. At first, I initially thought that I just fouled a plug. I have plugs in my toolbox, so I went and got a ride to my pit, and we've changed the spark plug, and still wouldn't fire. And eventually, just kind of right there, I went over everything. You know, do I have fuel? Do I have spark? Do I have air? And we determined that I didn't have any spark at all, even with the old plug, with the new plug. So that's kind of what we're doing today. I already kind of went through the tests in the book just because I have never done this before. It's not very common that people will have electrical issues with their dirt bike. I mean, they do, but you know, let's face it, I've never had it happen, and I could fix, I'm pretty confident in fixing mostly anything on my dirt bike, but then when it was electrical, it's like, uh-oh, I'm in trouble. But it's actually not that bad, guys, and I'll show you what I did and what I came up with. Alright, so I definitely couldn't do this without my manual, because like I said, I have zero experience messing with electrical components on my dirt bike. Lucky for me, I'm on basically a 2005 YZ250. They haven't really changed much except for plastics, and the forks changed in 2006. But for all you fuel injected guys and stuff, you have a lot more electronic components and stuff. But we're staying with the good old YZ250. I don't know what that H2 and XH is, but ignore that. So anyway, open it up to your table of contents. This is how you find your electrical stuff, right? So electrical, page 6. For some reason, I have like old receipts from when I did. I think it was when I did my motor, so that way for resale purposes, I have the receipts. But so I did that, and on the back of the receipt, I already wrote down all my testing. So we'll kind of put that to the side first. So basically, this is kind of telling you where your stuff is. So I know number 7 as being called the stator, but in the book it's called CDI magneto, which I'm assuming is the same thing. Remember, I'm just your average Joe Schmo, so you know, maybe I'm wrong or not. But anyway, so I'm gonna skip all that. I'm gonna skip all this, and this is kind of the stuff that it said to test. So spark plug gap test, I don't have that, but I would still have spark regardless of the gap, I'm assuming, right? So I skipped that. It didn't say how to test the CDI box, but we'll kind of revert back to that in a minute. So the first thing it said to test was the ignition stop switch. So that's your kill switch, right? And I did the test, and it tells you, it says if it's conductive while the engine stop switch is pushed, so when you're pushing down on there, then you're so it says when it's conductive, you want it to be conductive when you're pushing down on the kill switch, okay? And if you're not getting any numbers on your multimeter, that's not good. But also, if you hook up your leads, you know, right here, black and white, black lead, just follow that. Plus is always red, negative is black on your multimeter, just like hooking up a car battery. Now, so if you do that, and if it is conductive when you're not touching it at all, you also have a problem. So you don't want that, okay? So that one's kind of confusing. The rest of them are pretty cut and dry, I have found out. So the next thing is to check your coil, okay? So you have your plus and your negative, these actually don't matter. You could do it either way, but I still followed the book. And the reason I'm saying that is because I watched Rocky Mountain's testing video, and I kind of did my own little test myself. I did it the way it was supposed to go, with going to the correct colors, and then I reversed them, and I got the same exact number. So my primary coil, which is my coil, that guy right there, this guy right, let me hobble on over there. You guys know I got a broken leg if you watch my videos. But my coil, I can't see my coil. There she is. Okay, primary coil. There's two ways to test it, or there's two tests you do. So the first one is you just connect the yellow lead, the yellow color wire to the positive, and the black color wire to the negative, and you should get 20 to 30 ohms. So I already did that. I did it here. I kind of did it out of order. But so it says the book, just like I said, 20 to 30 ohms. My test, I got 0.3 to 0.4, which is 30 to 40 ohms. And it was kind of like sometimes I would get 0.3, sometimes I would get 0.4. So that's kind of why I wrote that there. Now, I don't know where my tripod is, so I'll give you a little POV with my POV. So like I was saying about the coil, should get 20 to 30 ohms, okay? So I have my multimeter, switched it to ohms there. And now we're gonna unplug the coil. Okay, and now it was saying the yellow is going to be the positive and the black is going to be the negative. And I'll show you what I was talking about when I said it didn't really matter, but let's do it the way the book says first. So hopefully, I know the GoPro makes everything a little bit smaller. I put it in the view. Hang on, that's not the right plug. Yeah, this is the one. This one goes to the just the wiring. So yellow, bear with me for a second. There we go. Yellow and black. So yellow, the red goes to the yellow and the black goes there. There you go, right there. 0.3. Pass the test, right? Alright. And then let's talk about how I said you could switch them, right? So instead, this time I'll put the black to the red, or sorry, black to the yellow wire, and the red to the black wire. And you're gonna get the same result right there. So 0.3 ohms. The book said 0.2 to 0.4, smack dab in the center. Okay. Okay, so the next test for the coil, it says, is it's called the secondary coil resistance. And before we look at the numbers, let's look at what that is. So you actually pull the spark plug cap off, and I didn't even know that it would come off, but you actually just screw it, just like a nut. It'll screw off. So it's the same exact thing, you know, counterclockwise to take it off, clockwise to take it on. Put it on. And yeah, so you could do that, right? So it said, the picture says the first one, which is 1. We're down here. Tester positive. Spark plug lead 1. So that's going to be where the cap goes. And then number 2 is the yellow lead. So it's that same yellow wire that we did right here. All right, so let's check that out. Okay, so now I'm going to pull the brand new spark plug off. And then, just like I said, counterclockwise, the cap will come off the coil. I put it on there pretty good last night, I guess. Come on, baby. Let's go over here. Oh, hang on. I'm holding on to the whole thing. There we go. So don't hold on to here because that's part of the spark plug cap. Hold on to back here and it'll come off. So there's the spark plug cap. We'll just put it right here for now. So it said the red will go up here like that. And then the black, which is the negative, will go to the yellow. There's the yellow. This is a GoPro. I can't see, so just bear with me. Okay, I got 11.33 kilo ohms. Remember, there's a K in front of the ohm symbol. That's kilo ohms. Okay? So, let's go back to what the book says. And it should be 9.52. I'm trying to get as close as I can. I know the GoPro is small. 9.52 to 14.28 kilo ohms. So that tests out. So both tests on the coil, good to go. Alright, so now we're going to move to the spark plug cap. We're going to test that. The spark plug lead is the lead terminal number 1, where the positive goes, and the negative lead terminal number 2. I have no clue what that means, but luckily up here they have pictures. So number 1 is going to be the positive. So it's going to go to the back, right there. And then, oh, right there is a picture. See, positive, which is the red. It's going to go to the back. Negative, it's going to go straight in where the spark plug goes in. And that is supposed to be 4 to 6 kilo ohms. So that's barely anything. But let's hook up the, turn on the GoPro and see what we get. Okay, so I don't even know what I just dropped, but that's okay. So spark plug cap. And I believe the red is supposed to go in here to the back. And what I noticed is you kind of have to play with this to make sure you actually contact the metal. But I think it said 4 to 6 kilo ohms. And there we go. 5.12 kilo ohms. So we know that the cap is good. Man, do I wish that this went bad, because this thing, I imagine, would be cheap to replace. So we already know now that my cap is good and my coil is good. So remember I was talking about just screwing the cap back on the coil? That's what I'm going to do right now for you. So I just pushed all the wire. I could even go more, just like that. So that's why it wasn't going on before. But I'll just go till it bottoms out, and then I'll kind of push in and turn at the same time. And I just learned how to do this, so I'm no expert. Oh yeah, she's definitely going on now. So now everything's kind of starting to twist together, and I'll give her a little pull, and it's not going anywhere. So now, just for fun, we'll plug it back in. There we go. And that's how you put the cap back on the coil. Alright, so now the next thing to check when the cap is good. We already did the coil. Coil was good. Where is it at? Here we go. Ignition coil. That tested out good. The cap tested out good. So now we're going to go on to the CDI magneto, the stator, as I know it as. And there's 3 different things to check here. So you have the pickup coil resistance, which is number 1. Number 2, the charging coil resistance. Now we're going to go on to the other page, and it's charging coil 2 resistance, number 3. Excuse me. So, the first thing you're gonna just follow the book and you go in their order. Is check up the pickup coil resistance. Put the positive, which is the red, onto the white and red cable, and then the black, which is the negative, on the white and blue lead. And you should get 248 to 372 ohms. Okay, so I always like to start off with my red first. I wish I had my tripod, but I think my GoPro is going to be okay. So, you have right here is, we're going to put the red to the red and white, and the black to the blue and white. So you're going to plug her in right there, touch the metal, and touch the metal, and we got 265.8 ohms. So we're looking good right there. Now, remember what I was saying about switching them? Let's just do that just for fun. I don't really mean to confuse anybody, but it's kind of hard to get this stuff wrong. So now I hooked them up backwards, just because it's resistance. That's all we're doing. You got the same thing. 265.9. Switch them back to the way they were supposed to be. 265.6. That's nothing. It's still the same reading. So it may be just a little bit different, but it's still the same. And the book says, according to my notes, is it's going to be 248 to 372 ohms. We're right there smack dab in the middle. We're looking good. Alright, so that's what we just checked, was the pickup coil resistance. Now we're going to go on to number 2. And we are looking at the charging coil resistance. So, just follow it again. Plus is red, negative is black. I'm going to say that every single time. I will burn it into your heads if you guys don't know. So now we're going to go, and it's going to tell us, again, the wires. On that little connector, here, I'll just show you. On the connector, there's only 6 different spots, and it's identifying every single color. Alright, so we'll go back to the manual. So now we're looking at 2, like I said, focus, there we go. Black and red is going to be the positive, and just plain black is going to be the negative. So we are looking at 720 ohms to 1080 ohms. Alright, now here's the part where I got really confused, and I went onto online forums to kind of ask for help, to no avail. But on Rocky Mountain's thing, on Rocky Mountain's how to, which I'll put the link in the description just for reference, and it did help me a lot. There's automatically transferred to kiloohms, and just like my coil did. My coil, I didn't do anything different, because the multimeter I'm using does it automatically for me. I don't have to do anything. But that did transfer to kiloohms by itself. And this would too. But here's why I think I have a bad stator. Is because you'll see. Okay, so we'll start with red. And we will go the black and red with the red. And then the black. There. And I messed up. Sometimes if these things move, then you'll get a out of limits reading, or an OL, open line. I don't know exactly what it is. But I'm on there now, I'm good. And I'm only at 7.9 ohms. Now, when, on Rocky Mountain's video, it was like 0.800 or 800 kiloohms or whatever it was. And when you convert that, it comes out to 800 ohms, which I don't really remember what the conversion was. Remember, this is my first time doing this. I don't know much about electronics, So if I'm screwing up the lingo for someone who knows what's going on, sorry guys, but this is not what I do on a daily basis. This is me just trying to learn how to do it by myself and not have to pay someone else. So, and that's what I'm trying to do, is I'm trying to kind of share my personal experience, and if it helps people like a how-to, then so be it. But that's only 8 ohms. Minimum is supposed to be 720 ohms. So that's a big old red flag there. And I'll throw in the video when I tested someone else's stator. And with the same deal here, the multimeter, I keep forgetting what it's called, it transferred to like 800 something kilo ohms or whatever, or 0.800 or whatever. So I'm thinking that I have a bad stator. Alright, so I already kind of pointed out the problem here. I found that that's not the reading that I'm supposed to get. But let's just go ahead just for fun and let's go check the other one. This is coil charging number 1, wrong page. Coil charging number 2 resistance. So it's going to be the green and blue and the green and white. Green and blue is the red. Green and white is the black cable on the micrometer. Not the micrometer. What is that damn thing called? The multimeter. And then what the numbers we're looking for is 44 to 66 ohms. So, same cable. So Brian said that 99% of the time when these YZs don't have spark is because the CDI box goes kaput. So I brought my bike over last night and he took his customer CDI and we plugged it in and I still had no spark. So that's when, and I brought my multimeter over and great. That's not even mine. And God, I totally lost my train of thought now. So I brought my multimeter over, and I said, well, let me test your guy's stator. And when I tested that, I got the reading that it was supposed to be just exactly like Rocky Mountain did. Okay, so it's supposed to be, we got another stator here. I got 7.2 ohms. It's supposed to be 720 to 1080. Boom, right there. 832 kilo ohms. Okay, mine's not converting to kilo ohms. That's 832 ohms. So mine is only getting 7.2 ohms instead of 832, which would be within range. So my stator is smoked. So thank you, Brian. And, I'm thinking, is these plastic covers, they don't seal worth a crap. Gaskets up here on the bench. They don't seal worth a crap. I even put some grease on there. But what happens is the chain slings crap on there. And I tend to get a little crazy with the pressure washer. Look, this is an aftermarket flywheel. You guys have probably seen the flywheel comparison video. It's rusty because there's water in there. And there's, you know, there's dirt and stuff. They don't seal good. It's really not that big of a deal if you see rust on your flywheel. Moisture is getting in there. But I think I just maybe went a little bit crazy with the pressure washer and I fried a coil or something in there. So it's not the end of the world. I already ordered one. And, yeah, I ordered one actually today at work. And I'll hook it up. So yeah, I just ordered today the stator and a couple other tools. I ordered a flywheel puller. I don't have one. Last time I did it, I borrowed one from Cole. And so once I get that going, we will throw that new stator in there and see if I have sparks. So it's going to be a few more days, and we'll see how it goes. Hopefully I'm right, or else I spent, you know, $200. But that's why I did all this testing first, because I didn't really want to be buying electronic components in the dark and just hoping I would get spark. So I think I got the answer I was looking for, and we'll see in a few more days.